Hey guys, welcome to the Crush This Monster podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. Want to say thank you for all the people that have gave us 5-star likes on iTunes and also on Spotify too. I just put my new camera placement right here and it went this way and stuff. We also want to thank 6B Apparel, trying a little bit something different. I'm coming out with me and Chris from 6B. If people don't know quite yet, we sell the crew shirts. Brad's on. Brad will be on here in a little bit. He's wearing our OG crew shirts. Not OG, New Wave. I apologize. Our New Wave crew shirts. And we also have the OG one. Those are $100 a pop. I talked to Chris through Crispy. Chris, man, I'm done. Later. Good night. Chris through 6B, and have you seen those Monster Jam type hoodies? Hold on one second. Hey, Nuge!
What's up?
Give me that hoodie of yours.
It's not 6B.
Close enough.
I think it's back home, actually.
No, it's not. It should be in your closet. Anyway, I'm going to show you pretty much what we're going to look at here. There it is. Thank you.
Yep.
So it's kind of like this type deal. It's not Monster Jam, but it's kind of like the hoodie, but it's gonna have our Crush This New Wave logo on it. So that's gonna be also for sale for 6B. Thank you.
Yep.
Didn't mean to throw in the garbage can. So that's also gonna be coming out here soon. We are coming out with a site. Brad's knocking in t-shirts. Give him props. These are some awesome t-shirts that are coming out. Brad's been working his tail off. And we have a suggestion. Maybe Brad will think about it. Probably be a no with the team eggnog. So we'll see how Brad's reaction is on that one. I want a t-shirt that says I did not survive the one chip challenge. I kind of want that t-shirt that says I didn't succeed, and then put the time 4 minutes, last 4 minutes, and that's it, and go from there. I'd be a free. I didn't survive the one chip challenge, and or something like that nature. But it's all good fun. Also want to thank once again JB Scale Graphics. If you want your monster truck to look like Bigfoot, Obsessed, Bad Habit, good name a different truck, heavy hitter, etc. Flags, get them done right. Go to JB Scale Graphics. They'll get them done for you. And like I said, they're pretty cool stuff. Next week's guest will be Marty Garza. And we're going to talk about this book right here. So if you're interested and you haven't got into this book whatsoever, this would be pretty cool. Maybe push you guys for that. We were pushing it last year, stuff like that. But this book is pretty cool. And me and Marty Garza will talk about the book. Brad will be not here next week. He gotta be moving. So he will be back, and maybe in the week after. He'll catch up. He's a busy man now. A lot of gigs, a lot of stuff like that. A lot of cool gigs for him. So much awesome going on there for Brad. Justin Stories. Take a look at his book, Making Tracks, the comic books on Amazon.com, or go to his Facebook page, $10 a pop. Take a look at that stuff. It's pretty cool. We just gave the book at our random giveaway to a fan, Travis Swellow, and he had some cool stuff going on there too. Like I said, with J Concepts, thank you so much. They've been rocking this deal from the start. Same thing with High Octane Coffee. Man, it's pretty good. We may not have eggnog shirts. If there will be, it'll be around Christmas time. Yeah, I hear that, but that's further down the run, and we'll go from there. But man, it's pretty cool. Thank you for everyone that helped out. We also we also got some ads going on here too. So we'll be playing a few of those back to back. So there's probably be a little gap. We'll play some ads to thank the people that have been helping us out too. So once again, Brad will be on here, and we also will have Brandon Overmyer on here too. So let's get the ball started, and we'll do our first ad. So thank you guys, and here we go.
This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Chichagash. Buckle in. The show starts now.
And welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Crush This. My name is Brad Shaw, also known as the Monster Truck Knucker, and over on the other side of the computer screen there is my co-host Dan Agosh. I quickly, before we get into the interview with Brandon there, Teach was mentioned I'm not going to be on the podcast next week. I am moving. I'm in the process of packing up my apartment. I'm going to be moving. I'm moving back home with my parents for now. It sucks, but it is what it is. And Chicho said I'm a busy man. I'm taking a course right now currently for supply chain management. That's coming to an end. A big exam's coming up soon. So, and plus the t-shirts, as Cheech mentioned, I am cranking them out. We got some pretty badass designs for you guys. Let's just say I'm stoked on how these are turning out, man. Like Cheech had a great idea for one of them, and that shirt, I can't wait. I feel like it's going to probably be our best seller. It's going to be on a site called Spreadshirt. It's the same website that Bigfoot uses. So you guys are going to be able to get hoodies, phone cases, hats, like whatever that you guys can think of putting our logo on, it'll be there. So, let's get into it. Brandon, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Glad to be on here.
Thank you, be on here. I met you at the Hall of Fame, and it was pretty cool to meet you at the first time. And I heard about you and stuff like that. I was pretty. You were, hearing you as a good person, and you are. And I had to get you on. The conversations that we had was at the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. And let's start from there at the Hall of Fame. How was your experience like there and seeing that? I know you did a show there a few months prior, maybe a month prior there. Let's actually go. Yeah, let's talk about the experience at the Hall of Fame and how did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, the place is, it's just so history rich. The guys that are there are just legends. You never think that they're going to be an hour from your house type deal. So any chance I can go there, if I can spare the time, meet the people, it's awesome to be there. So,
and how was the show that you did there previous there?
It was really cool. That was an awesome opportunity to be able to do the first show in my own truck at the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's something that a lot of guys in monster trucks may never get to do. And then to be able to start off your so-called maybe career doing that, I guess it was really cool. I mean, obviously the guys that like Jeff and that put it on, and Brian Kahn and Andy, they know what's going on. So to go out and take something completely different, put on a show, and have guys like that say you did a good job, that's awesome.
So let's go back in time here, and let's go the timeline form of this program.
Okay.
You know, when you first started doing monster trucks, were you a fan of it, and how did you get yourself? Basically, the story is like, how do you get yourself to where you are at right now?
So my dad had a 4-wheel drive shop from before I was born until I was about 8 years old, maybe 10, here in Indiana. And he actually had a couple different branches that started getting a little bigger and stuff. But so we always took our show trucks. He had show truck with 27 inches of lift, which we still have now. It was kind of for his business, and we took it to all the jamborees, and we were all around all the monster truck guys because that's how monster trucks started, in the early 90s, late 80s before. So I kind of grew up around the monster truck thing, and a lot of cool people like Mike Botters, Kirk Dabney, Andy Hoffman, and stuff. And obviously, when you're a little kid and you're around monster trucks, you just want more, So, yeah. Past that, I guess the 4-wheel drive business ended up closing that up as the internet come along and times changed and whatever. But the love of 4-wheel drive and monster trucks never left. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got started in it. And
and you're from the Indiana area, being from that area, and we talked about it last week when we had Richie and Colton Kaiser on. That area alone, is rich in monster truck and 4-wheel history with the 4-wheel jamborees, the Penda series. Do you think that, being in that area, led to, what you're doing now?
I mean, it definitely didn't hurt. Being able to go to the 4-wheel jamboree every year since I was alive. I mean, I saw the Penda racing, was around that deal, and like you say, that just everywhere you looked, something was going on with that. Not to mention that you had guys like Jeff and Andy that were pretty close, and then everybody from around the country funneled to Indianapolis, even if they weren't from here. So you got to see the big stars and stuff. So it definitely contributed. Location is key.
So did you ever cross paths with Steve Hess, or even Scott Hess? I know the Nightmare truck in your neck of the woods is a very popular vehicle.
For sure. So I actually didn't know Scott Hess very well until the past 3 or 4 years here. I actually met him at the Jamboree with Jeff Cook probably 4 years ago now. But Steve Hess was always a name that I grew up around. I mean, the Nightmare truck, Steve's shop was within an hour from us. We actually had a Nightmare truck or two in my dad's shop when I was little. There's pictures of me with a stroller rolling around it and stuff. So Dad and Steve go way back. I mean, Steve always had nice stuff, and was very well known. So, but yeah, now I'm pretty good friends with Scott Hess. I talk to him on a regular basis too, and I really enjoyed learning about, the early days of what he had going on and stuff too. So.
How was it going to, the jamborees in that time period? Because, I look back on, growing up in the 90s and watching the Penda series and just how epic some of those races and everything was. How was it being in that era of the sport?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, it's a night and day difference now, It was a competition back then. So, like, you had guys like Kirk Dabney with Marty Garza's Overkill design and stuff that was completely off the wall, flatline, racing, built for business rig. I mean, you went there, you were going to see a show. That was cool. It was anybody's game. It was whoever worked the hardest for it. So it's a really cool experience. Definitely not the same anymore, but yeah, I don't know how you put it into words other than that.
So how did you get connected with Andy Hoffman?
So Andy's about an hour from me, and obviously Steve had the Nightmare name, and Andy ended up with it from Kirk and whatever. And when my parents were doing some Thunder National shows, they were doing husband versus wife tug of war back to back as like a side gimmick deal, whatever, with their show trucks. And so Andy did some of those shows with us, so we were around him. He had the Dodge body truck back then. That was always one of mine and my father's favorite chassis as monster trucks progressed. It was just very clean coil spring truck. Andy was a nice dude. I don't think Andy's met a stranger. I mean, guy can talk to anybody, you know. So, I guess, you know, once you meet somebody like that, you're friends forever. Even though I was just a little kid, didn't know any mechanical aspect other than I loved monster trucks. When I started pestering Andy here past couple years, I mean, it's like things just fell into line, you know. So, yeah.
So, you know, being around the sport, you know, and as a young child and, you know, growing up, did you ever imagine yourself to be sitting in front of your very own monster truck?
Well, I mean, that's something you always dream of. I mean, as a kid, you always think, man, that would be cool or whatever, or you want to go drive somebody else's. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I mean, it was on my list. Someday it was going to happen. So it just, you take challenges in life and you work towards goals and whatever. And I've been fortunate to have good people around me where when I set a goal, they don't get shot down very often, or it becomes a reality eventually, you know. So I've got a very good group of friends, and my dad's always been behind me and everything. So yeah, it's awesome sitting in front of my own truck. But at one point in time, I thought that it would probably happen.
So how did that come about? What got you? What's the story behind the truck that's behind you? And you know, what got you to pick a classic Dodge body and go with, you know, it's a Cummins, so
Yep.
it's a Mopar. So tell the story of how you got your hands on or behind
Let
you.
me let me start a little roundabout way of why this is back here. So, towards the end of my dad's 4-wheel drive shop run, he and my mom and I bought the Night Stalker truck from Steve Combs, leaf spring truck, the original heavy 79 Ford body truck, whatever. Dad brought it home, took the body off of it. Combs got the body back. My dad relabeled it Green Giant. Kirk Dabney booked us some shows and whatever. Toured with that for a little bit. So then we had a monster truck. So then obviously, little kid, got a monster truck once. You know, always going to want to have another one. I found that truck. I did this Hall of Fame deal started booming again, I guess. And I started learning about, you know, what Jeff had going on and stuff. And he was really building steam with it. Got me thinking, man, I really want that truck back from my childhood. Like, it might not have any historic value to most people, but to me, that was our leaf spring truck back in the day, you know. I wanted that bad. So you know, there's monster truck super fans out there. If you get on the internet, there's guys that know where everything is. You talk to the right guy. So got on Facebook, said, hey, looking for a truck from my childhood, whatever. And guy told me right where it was sitting. Craziest thing. Would have never believed it. Like, surreal moment. Still, I screenshotted the picture he sent me, started doing investigating how to get a hold of the guy, whatever. Thought, I'm going to go buy this truck back. I convinced my wife to fly out there with me on my birthday in 2020, I think. I took a pocket full of cash. I was going to buy that truck, whatever it took. It was like, you know, I went and saw it. The thing had been so stripped down that, you know, you had to look at it from a common sense level. It was part of my past. It was awesome to see it, but it would have took the same amount of money to build that old leaf spring truck back to the way I wanted it as to what it took to put this truck right here behind me, which sounds crazy. But when you start throwing money at a monster truck, it doesn't matter if it's old or it's new. You know, they all take the same parts to build them type deal. So I made the guy an offer on it, whatever. We were a few $1,000s off, and I ended up walking away from it. And I started thinking about it. And I was like, you know, if I want to go do something with this truck and have it support itself, a leaf spring truck isn't going to do that for me unless I just use it as a ride truck. So yeah, I kind of developed the idea for this because I'd been around Cummins engines and sled pulled for the past 10 years, and yeah, I was just waiting for the opportunity to present itself then, and actually that's where Andy Hoffman comes in too, back into the story. So my father likes going to a lot of auctions, and Andy, if anybody knows Andy, he likes going to auctions and getting a good deal on stuff. So they were both at a farm auction about 45 minutes from our house, and Andy walked up with his long Hawaiian hair, and said hey to my dad and whatever, and Dad recognized him, and they were sitting there watching this auction take place, and then this little fella named Paul walked up, Paul Wickelman, and introduced himself and said, I got a monster truck too, and I had no idea who Paul was, neither did Dad. So Dad come home and told me that. This was kind of all just happened to be in the same timeline of when I was looking at getting the old leaf spring truck back. I looked Paul up on Facebook, got his number, and talked to him and whatever. And yeah, that's why this truck's behind me now, because I went and saw Paul one too many times, I guess.
So what was the history of that chassis? What was the truck previously?
So Paul had like 7 or 8 trucks at one time. I guess he did his own shows, but this truck mainly ran as Night Stalker, from what I'm told. I think bodies got switched around a little here and there. It's kind of, I think Paul even had a hard time keeping track somewhat, but this truck, Dalton Skyhawk ended up driving it the last couple of years, and it was actually Night Stalker, and then it got switched to the American Outlaw body the last year or two that it ran, which was 2016 was the last time it was out. So it's a Marty Garza design. When I say that, it's like maximum overkill. Marty laid that thing out back in the day. It was pretty good design, square tube frame, and how the cradle comes off of it and everything. And Paul had a handful of these chassis made in conjunction with Kirk Dabney, and this is one of the. Well, I think there's 4 or 5 around, but yeah, this was the one that Paul considered his nicest piece, so he kept it till last. And he didn't really need to sell it, didn't have it for sale anywhere, just sitting in the back corner of his pull shed. But when somebody wants something bad enough, you can make stuff happen.
Everything has a price.
Yeah.
Quickly, guys. They just announced the next driver for the TNT Unfinished Business on the Scott Douglas podcast. I have it on my other screen. Johnny K and Buffalo Tremor.
Oh, that's cool.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, Johnny K.
So I had to keep an eye on it. Just because we're all fans of the TNT days.
Mike Wine must have sweet talked him. Mike Wine must have sweet talked him. Mike, you sweet devil.
Yeah.
So
Mike could definitely talk him, I can assure you.
Oh, so you've obviously went with the Cummins power plant. Are you a Mopar guy through and through, or was it people have had diesel trucks? We've obviously seen what Dave Radzirez has done with the Cummins platform. We've seen what Monster Jam did with Brodozer. Why go the diesel route for your truck?
Well, it's kind of what I know, I guess. I as soon as I got out of high school, I had a diesel pickup truck I drove, and I started turning it up. Well, even before I got out, really. Started sled pulling. You take a 180 horse truck, you make 1,250 horse with it. You get good at it. We spent a lot of time on dyno. Knew what parts were good and bad for the Cummins stuff. That's just what I liked. It's what my friends were around. It's just been the craze the past 10 years. The diesel industry really caught on. So when I went to put this together, the big thing to me was, one of the appealing things about the old leaf spring truck was that my 3-year-old son now could have rode with me in it. You could give rides, whatever. You have a race truck, you got a blown alcohol motor. Most of them are running dry, loud, thumping. Not going to take it through a parade or anything like that, generally, without pulling it or hauling it. So I was like, you know what? We can make good power with the Cummins diesel, and it still be pretty have pretty decent manners for the most part, you know. And it's what I know, and I had parts. So I was like, let's make it happen. So
what's the spec on that motor?
So this engine is a 5.9 12 valve out of like a 94 to 98 Dodge truck. Kind of the bulletproof engine that was ever made in the diesel world. I mean, they're known for being able to make pretty good power, relatively cheap, be reliable, and there was a lot of them out there. So it's kind of like the small block of the diesel world, you know, small block Chevy. So it's literally 360 cubic inches. I run a single turbocharger on it just to try to keep it simple. It's a S475 turbo from Stainless Diesel. This turbo will make 1,000 horsepower approximately, or more if you spray it with nitrous or whatever. So the big key is just to make it have manners, because diesels have lag, and you want to try to keep as much lag as you can out, still be able to keep your power up. It's just something you got to play with, you know.
Now, have you done anything to combat that lag? I know you mentioned nitrous, and a lot of even like other racers, even with V8 combinations, use nitrous to help spool the turbo faster. And why the single turbo instead of a compound turbo setup? I know you wanted simplicity. You know, what was there any other reasons behind going single compared to a compound?
Well, first of all, yes, I have nitrous on it now, but and it works all right. We're still kind of in the testing phases of that. But the reason I went single was from simplicity, weight savings, and if anybody's ever been around a monster truck, you got to work on the thing sometimes. They're out there jumping 20 feet in the air, you go break a turbo off or something, you know. 2 turbos, twice as many things to go wrong, twice as much intercooler piping, you know, you just double everything. Okay. You got a seal goes out of one turbo. You're trying to figure out which one it is. It's sucking oil into the motor. You don't know. You know, it just complicates things a lot. And monster trucks are supposed to be loud. Whenever you twin turbocharge a diesel or a gas engine for that, a turbocharger is working as a muffler, basically. Nothing against Dave Radzirez. I talked to the dude before I put this together. Cool guy. Been there, done that. Respect the heck out of him. Had twin turbos on his truck. I understand why he did, but the thing wasn't very loud. If you listen to the videos of this thing when it's 5,000 RPMs, you can actually hear it. You might not hear it over a blown gas motor, but when it's out there on its own, it's got a pretty good tone to it. So there's another reason.
Okay.
And also, let's continue on. The transfer of the power. Yeah, the transmission. What did you pick as for your transmission for the truck?
So that comes from, we built a dirt drag truck, if you watch our YouTube channel, and we use the Dodge transmission. They're called a 47 RE or 48 RE. They're based off a 727 Mopar torque flight transmission, basically. They just beefed them up as they put them in diesels. They made locking torque converters, added a gear, etc. So the transmission in our dirt drag truck has like 150 passes on it before we took it out this past time. It was basically trouble free. We found a really good part setup. We know it would hold the power. Granted, that truck weighs 4,500 pounds. This truck weighs 14,500 pounds or whatever, you know. But it was a thing to where I feel like with the diesel, with the torque they make, you need a torque converter in there. And Dave had a clutch with the Lenco in his. And he made the remark to me how much stuff he'd break every now and then. Well, when you tie a 1,200 horse, 1,800 foot-pound impact driver down, it's going to break parts. That's just what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-inch solid steel shaft; it'll just break it. So that's where I thought this Dodge 3-speed transmission with a good torque converter would be cool, because your torque converter is like a shock absorber in there. You know, it allows you to free up some RPMs, let it flare, but yet if the big tires hit something, it's got a little cushion, you know. So I went that route. Transmission's actually not in the truck right now because we tore it up last weekend. But that's the thing was in the truck for 6 or 8 months, and we beat the crap out of it. First transmission, can't be too mad at it. We're gonna figure out what's wrong with it. we're gonna put it back together and we're gonna go at it again. So yeah.
And let's talk about the body that's on the truck, because you don't see a lot of old school Dodge body anything these days. Where did you get that body made? What year is it? Like, what was the decision behind the old school Dodge?
I did not want this old school Dodge body, first of all, which is crazy, but because it is awesome, and I'm glad that it's here now. But I wanted a second generation Dodge body because that's what I grew up around, 94 to 02. That was my thing. That's what my race truck is, my sled pulling truck. I drive a couple of those trucks. But what I come to find out is all the barefoot bodies, and like Andy ran one on Nightmare and stuff. Well, Schaefer had a handful of them. I beat every bush I could find trying to find one of those bodies, and they just are not out there anymore. GTS made them. I called GTS, said, "Hey, man, I want one of those bodies." He said, "Dude, the mold set for 5 years. I never sold a body. I cut it up." And I was like, "You what? You sold 1,000 of these barefoot bodies, And he said, "I understand that." But he said, nobody was ordering them. So he said, "We got newer Dodge bodies, or we got older Dodge bodies." And he's the one that told me. He said, "Dude, I just did a 69 Dodge pulling truck body, and it's awesome." And I said, "Well, it's not really my thing, but send me a picture of it, And then once you see that picture, it's like anything, it starts growing on you. And I investigated some more bodies for, trying to find a second gen body for another month or so. And finally, I was getting to where this thing was starting to get put together. I was like, I need a body. So I called up GTS and ordered it. It showed up. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I did now, obviously. But yeah, that's how it come about. GTS, he sold me on it, and it's cool. So
I love the simplicity of the paint job, but what got you the two-tone white and blue?
Here's another crazy one. So I just literally, because I was not versed in 69 Dodges at all. I mean, I've seen a couple of these swept line trucks. They're way before my time and whatever. So I just typed it in on Google. I just typed in 69 Dodge. First picture that pops up, white and blue 69 Dodge. I'm like, man, that is cool. At first, I was thinking about using kind of American flag wrap, kind of like the Outlaw was when I got it, when we took the body off of it at Paul Wickelman's. A multicolor deal, that when you bust it up or whatever, it's easier to patch back together. It kind of hides dirt and imperfections and stuff. But once I saw that picture of that old Dodge, I was like, that would be something. I've never seen a clean, old school monster truck body like that, So that's what we went with. I just shot in the dark, and so far I haven't heard a whole lot of negative comments about it.
No, I kind of like it. Also, you didn't even put the name of the truck. Can you at least let people know what the name of the truck is, because that's pretty interesting.
So I'm going to still call it the American Outlaw, and I got the logo designed. It's going to go on the door right here behind me. I just wanted to run it clean for the time being, just because I'm not a corporate sponsor. I don't have big sponsors, so I can do that, and it's got its own look. But it's called the American Outlaw Reloaded. So it's reloaded because it's Cummins diesel, obviously, but just call it the American Outlaw. That's what the big letters will say on it. Got a really cool logo.
I really like to see if you just put the logo on the tailgate and leave the truck alone. Just looks like a regular pickup truck. Nothing too fancy. Nothing. It just pops, and I like it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, speaking from another Mopar team guy,
Yeah.
we kind of like, I don't know. We were talking about, and we like the simplicity of the truck. It makes its own. It turns heads by itself, just standing there. I heard a lot of good things when you had the truck there at the Jamboree, I think that'd be pretty cool. That's just me.
I like it clean. Don't get me wrong. I'm kind of like you. That's why all the decals are down on the cradle for my sponsors that I have. I didn't want a decal on the body. I've heard a lot of guys, Andy's one of them, gives me shit. You got to have a name on that thing. You got to. Nobody knows what it's called. He calls it Old Smoky, whatever. Give me a hard time. But I guess I'm going to try the door deal. It's not going to be real big. More of a kind of keep it like the shop truck look, like something from the Dukes of Hazzard era or something. You see an old shop truck rolls up, just has an old shop logo on it, not overdo it, anything. And then I'll probably have another one of these bodies here at some point, because you got to have a spare of everything in monster trucks. If I get a bunch of negative feedback, the next one will be clean again. But
here's just a quick idea. If you do get another body, do it a very similar thing, but have it look like kind of like almost like a rat rod. I think that would look actually pretty cool with the logo on the door, but kind of make it more look a bit like rat rodish. I think that'd look pretty sick.
I've actually thought about that. Yep. So
a little pinstriping.
Yeah, we can always add and try different things. You gotta keep things to where the newness don't wear off. Let everybody see it this way. And
who knows? I might open up Photoshop after this and see what comes out of my brain for that.
There you go.
You mentioned your YouTube channel. If people don't know your YouTube channel, what's the name of it, and how long have you been doing that for?
So I think we released our first video in March of 2021 for the YouTube channel, and it is called Merica-Tv. You can type in American Outlaw or America Cummins or something to find us. Anything. And we have a lot of diesels on our channel, but our dirt drag truck was called Merica because it was red, white, and blue. We built it out of a bunch of junk we had laying around. That's where it got its name. That's where the YouTube channel kind of started, because we were messing around with it for the YouTube channel type deal. So, and then the monster truck come along. Seems to be a good thing. People like seeing it. So, yeah, check our Merica-Tv YouTube channel out for sure. Subscribe. We're doing really well for being less than a year old. So,
speaking of which, one of your big hits right now is when you went to Andy's place and saw the Nightcrawler tank. Were you actually considering buying it, or what got you started on that video about the Nightcrawler truck?
Well, I helped Andy Crew for a few times this year, and he spoke of it and everything. And obviously, you can't tell a monster truck guy about a tank and him not want to see it or know more about it or anything, So I pestered him enough that I went over there one day and saw it. And then he was kind of planning on selling the truck that Colton and Richie have now, and his other truck sitting in his shop tore apart. And he doesn't have a real big shop, so any room is valuable. So he said, well, this tank's kind of sitting in the road, So I told him, I said, man, I would love to help you get that thing running and move it for a video. Nobody saw that thing for 4 or 5 years, Everybody's curious about it. So I pestered him pretty much all summer about it. And every time I would say I was coming to do it, he made an excuse of why not to or whatever, But finally, it was literally 2 days before he went to Hawaii. I said, hey, we need to get that tank moved so we can get this other truck done when you get home from Hawaii. That's when the video was born. I mean, there was a rainstorm coming, and it was fun, though.
So is there any plans to do anything with the tank, bring it out to doing shows, or is it just going to be sitting again?
That's a good question. So back to the question about me buying it. I would love to own that tank, but I'm 6'4", and if you watch that video, my head is above the cage in it and everything. It is not an ideal situation for me whatsoever. But I'm trying to push Andy into booking it to do a few shows. There's a few guys that would love to buy it as well, not just me. They're probably in line way ahead of me. But those tanks beat you up pretty bad. So we're going to definitely try to keep it out and doing stuff. I don't know what'll happen, but hopefully people see it next year for sure.
Right on. And then, like you said on your YouTube channel and stuff like that, what future ideas are you thinking about doing for that product of the channel? Just, different ideas.
Oh, we got lots of ideas, but I can't tell you those, obviously, or you wouldn't go watch the channel.
You're right. There we go. There's a lot of ideas.
No, we're going to get the monster truck out next year, obviously. Our first video was actually sledding in the snow behind our 1,000-horse dirt drag truck. I would love to go car herding behind this monster truck. I don't know how safe it would be. That's one that comes to mind. But I don't know. We'll see. We've got 4 or 5 videos filmed already that aren't released. I did a video with Trailer Trash RC he's from LaPorte, Indiana here. Real cool dude, really big into RCs, knows his stuff. We just did one of those collab videos. So the monster truck portion of that, he got to drive this thing. That's getting released this weekend. So definitely go check that out.
I know you mentioned you did some pull-in stuff in the past. Is there a chance we're going to be able to see you hook up that truck behind you to a pull-in sled sometime soon?
You can count on it.
Yes.
Yep.
Last time we saw was Brandon Budd did that in his buckshot truck. Another farmer puller, but he did the unlimited modify multi-engine tractor pulling.
Okay.
And he did that in his local track in Virginia. So it's always cool to see that stuff. And you know, the cool thing about what you were talking about going to the diesel route is you have so many different avenues that you could do with that truck compared to an Alki, where you said, I mean, it's exactly, if you're going to take an alcohol monster truck to a parade, it has to go on a low boy, or, you know, or the parade has to start a block and end by a block. Or you have a gas powered engine, but sometimes they can overheat. I know a few times running the ride truck itself, sometimes in those long parades you'll get to it, but you could do so much different avenues, like you said. And having that moving around in parades, doing a pull, that gives you so many different stuff. Also, with the question with also the diesel, have you figured a way to run it inside buildings? That's always been a topic for even the with Monster Jam with the Diesel Brothers, Diesel Dave. You know, the emissions that are inside the building, it blows more smoke than the Alki guys do. Has that crossed your mind about doing indoor shows also and trying to figure that out?
I actually just helped Vodders Motorsports at Shipshewana last weekend indoors. Obviously crossed my mind. I mean, it's probably not going to be a reality to run a diesel indoors. This one smokes pretty good. You can dial it back like Brodozer. Brodozer still smokes really well. They're in a huge stadium is why they get by with that. You know, the smaller venues, a diesel's just, it's not going to happen inside. I'm okay with that. It's cold. I'm not dragging this thing out in the cold, whatever, in the winter. I'm all right. That isn't to say that I won't have a truck that can run indoors someday, you know. And it's not, I guess, I'm in this for a different reason than a lot of people. I'm not going to try to make my living with this thing. So I don't have to go do indoor shows. It would be nice, you know, if there's one close to be able to do it. But I doubt if you'll see this smoke blowing thing indoors. But like you said about the diesel, that is cool because you can do stuff that old school trucks did, float on water, sled pull. I mean, that's all stuff that I got on my list for this thing. I mean, it made it a lot more versatile.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
We got a comment here from Colton Kaiser. Says, ready to line up against this old square body farm truck?
I think a couple old school bodied trucks ought to line up. Yeah, I think that'll happen this summer. So, I mean, he's got way more driving experience than me. I don't claim to be a pro driver, but I'm not scared to line up against anybody. I lined up against Jamie Garner for the first person I ever raced. So if I was ever going to be nervous, that was the time.
What a person to line up against for your first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Motley Crue right next to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, another thing is pretty cool is you got a diesel and the Dodge body. It reminds me of one of the first trucks with a diesel Dodge body, and that would be Rolling Thunder. You know, that I think that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, they're Cummins, but you know, the Detroit diesel and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool seeing the, you know, still the continuation of like diversity in the monster truck world. You know, it's different, but still a monster truck. And I always think that's pretty cool.
Thank you. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and also to that, you did your first show at the Hall of Fame. Are you planning on doing any more shows? Oh, yeah, obviously this year. Are you kind of doing a little bit of a decent schedule for the spring and summer and fall schedule?
There's about 10 shows within 2 hours of my house. I'm working on lining up right now. Excuse me. So that's kind of my goal. I can do 10 shows during the summer, be a good shakedown for it. I'll know if I like it, if I don't like it, and we'll see how many times I got to work on it. That's kind of my thing for the summer. Got some displays lined up, and yeah, then we'll see what kind of doors open.
You know, I think it's cool what you're doing because it's different, even with the YouTube stuff and documenting your build. I think it's so cool what you're doing. You know, one cool video idea, I don't know if you've thought of it, is lining up your race truck against the monster truck.
Yep, our race truck would leave this thing set and it would look terrible, but it'll probably happen. So,
and one gentleman, he I forget his name. He's in Texas. He just rebuilt the Texas toy. I don't know if you pay attention to him and stuff like that. And how did you think? What did you think about that build?
I think it's awesome. That's a piece of history. Beautiful job. I mean, probably nicer than it was back in the day. Like a lot of these trucks that are redone now. Very cool.
Coming into this season, you did the show at the Hall of Fame last year. What's your expectations with the truck this year? Are you wanting just to, improve on your driving, any of the issues with the truck? What are you wanting to improve this year?
Well, I want it to be reliable. I want to have fun. Put a good show on for the fans. I'm a competitive person. I imagine when it gets to the showtime, I'll probably want to win racing. I don't know if it's capable, but we're going to try. Some people have doubts that a diesel's going to keep up with a blown alcohol truck. I know how fast our race truck is. I think we can do it, and it's about the challenge. I'm not saying I don't like driving this truck. It is a blast to drive. I enjoy working on it, proving what can be done with it. Good enough never is. I've said that on our channel. Constantly get better yourself. Try to see what you can make something do, So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
That's pretty cool. And actually, a little bit more about your build. Is the axles and the axles and stuff like that, the housing, still from the original truck, or what did you do for the upgrades?
I haven't did anything to these axles. That was kind of one thing that I did like about it, and then I didn't like about it, and then I'm back to liking it. I don't know. It's got massive 20-ton galleon axles under it. So they're super heavy, but they're still got the big ring and pinions on them. They're not 106 centers like, the norm, I guess. So with the diesel, I broke ring and pinions on my sled pulling truck like every night or every 3 pulls. Got tired of working on rear ends. These ring and pinions are massive in this thing, so I haven't did anything to them, to be honest to you. I mean, with you. I put oil in the planetaries, made sure the diffs got oil. That's what I did. Now, the transfer case was like a dinosaur. It was a 12-inch profab drop box. I mean, a very good piece back in the day, but I think it was probably one of the first ones he ever made for a monster truck. And it was literally all summer long to where if I poured a quart of oil on the top of it and you put a funnel on that quart and put it underneath the truck, when you come back the next morning, your quart of oil will be back in the jug again. So the transfer case is out of it right now. I'm completely rebuilding that. The case was actually cracked almost all the way in half, so it's getting welded. And there'll probably be some upgrading going on there. There'll probably be a new transfer case going in. So,
what are you running for the shock setup?
So right now it has 26-inch overtime. They were like brand new when I got it. They'd only had like half a season on them. Paul and Dalton had put them on. 26-inch overtime. These are bottom accumulators all the way around. I have 4 top accumulator shocks coming because Mike Vaughters was here helping me revalve it. Still lands kind of stiff. Did a bunch of investigating. You know, most guys run a top and a bottom on each corner or whatever. I want to have spare parts. My whole winter this winter is like go through stuff and make sure I got spares of everything. So that'll give me some spare shocks when I take 4 of these off and put 4 different ones on. And yeah, so it's pretty up to date on shock technology once it gets those top accumulators on. But I will say I always liked coil spring trucks. That was one thing I liked about Andy's Nightmare truck back in the day was coil springs. This truck ran coil springs in like 2014 or something. Paul Wickelman still has pictures of it. I mean, with coils on it. It did most of its shows with coils. I would love to put a set of King coils back on this, but I can't fit it in my shop door with the big tires on it if I got coils on it. So sorry.
How was it picking Mike Vaughters' brain? Having him at your place, helping you out with that truck, and you know the knowledge that he has, the many years of him running around this country with all different types of black stallion trucks, having him just helping you out. How awesome is that?
It is awesome to have friends like that. I mean, you can't put into words the knowledge that is there. Like you say, just touring the country, being there from the beginning. I mean, I asked some questions that I know he thinks I'm an idiot for asking him, but you get a response out of him. If you ask something completely stupid, he wants to call you a dumbass or whatever, you know. But it's really cool. He actually messaged me just a little bit ago to ask if I was live yet. Evidently, we're all on different time zones or something. But yeah, I talk to him almost every day. Excuse me. Very cool. Very, very cool.
What are you running for an engine management program in your truck?
Well, I don't know. We're going to manage to hopefully keep that engine in this truck.
That's the best answer right there.
I thought I'd ask.
Cumminses are supposed to be reliable. We hope this one is. It has been so far. I have a new engine I'm working on, but we're going to keep this one in as long as we can.
Yeah. So what did you have to do when? Okay, so the Night Stalker truck was obviously an Alki engine truck. What modifications you had to do to fit that Cummins right behind you in the frame?
Well, it seemed like it was going to be easy, but when you start putting a tape measure to things, the inside of the frame rails on this truck's 21 inches wide. There's nothing you can do about that. Hold on a second. I got a cold. I don't have the Rona. But
I'm using a heat gun right now. I can't talk about it.
So anyhow, I really didn't have to do a whole lot, thankfully. But a bell housing on a Cummins has the starter bolted onto it. When you go to set that in a 21-inch frame rails, things get tight in a hurry. So basically, I got a fleece shirt on. I got a fleece mid plate mounted the engine off of. I had to clock the starter against the engine. I had to turn it up, rotate it to get it slid down in there. And then past that, fit pretty well.
Did you have to do any changes, for the rear steering, any kind of things, changing to the diesel motor?
So the rear steer pump is still on the front of the truck. That's pretty much its own system.
Okay.
Electric over hydraulic. Your front steering is run off of a belt-driven pump or whatever, you know. So if you watch our YouTube channel, I actually used a stock Dodge power steering pump for the show up at Butler, and that's what I'd been running around with. Guys did that for years in the monster truck industry. I can't remember what they called them, but they ran them off Chevy engines and stuff. Just not very much volume there. Slow. Do the job. They're just slow. So now I actually put a hydraulic pump off a Cummins backhoe application or school bus. It's in a stock location below the injection pump. Seems to be working all right. We got a few bugs we're working out. Hold on. We got a few bugs we're working out, but I mean that's the way to go. A hydraulic pump, you know. I'm sure that's what Raminator. They run a big belt-driven hydraulic pump on them and whatever. So
Yeah.
constant updating going on. Probably will never end. Say good enough never is.
So your job that you have right now does involve with diesel vehicles?
Well, after my dad got done with the four-wheel drive business, my grandpa had a tree service. My dad bought it, took it over, and revamped it and whatever. So my family owns a tree service. So yes, we have diesel equipment. We have diesel chippers, diesel bobcats, diesel pickup trucks. I mean, we have gas trucks too, but you got to know how to work on things. I mean, whenever you got a business like that. So obviously, nothing performance-wise is used in the business necessarily. I mean, anything like that, you want to just use longevity. I mean, use it for longevity. But
just want to say, Mr. Jerry Richmond said, "What's up, guys? How you doing, Mr. Jerry Richmond?"
How's it going,
what's up, Jerry?
That's
I actually
awesome.
grew up around Jerry too when I was a young guy. He remembers me, so I'm glad he's watching. He's an old fart.
Here's kind of a random question. I watch a lot of like logging, YouTube videos like Buck and Billy Ray, guys like that. What do you prefer, Steel or Husqvarna?
Husqvarna 440.
You know, we're all Steel right now. I'm not saying Steel's the best because things have changed so much in how stuff's produced. There's good and bad in every brand. We run Steels just from the simplicity of being able to go to one dealership and get what you need type deal. Mm-hmm. I got a guy that works for me, helps us out a couple days a week. He runs Husqvarnas. They're awesome running saws. I mean, I can't take anything away from them. I can't say they're better or worse, but I think they're both good. It's just we try to keep Steels.
So you base it off logistics. It's easier to
exactly.
Like for instance, at Hall Brothers, we have Peterbilts. Well, there's a Peterbilt dealership down the road. Well, when we had Freightliners, we had to go Bloomington, not Indiana, but Illinois, and that was about an hour, 15 minutes away from our shop. So logistically, it was smart enough to sell the Freightliners and buy Peterbilts because Peterbilts were a lot closer. So that's a nice business move, even though, but we're not gonna, bash Freightliner. Freightliner did a hell of a job, just, money wise and logistics. It was just easier for us to deal with the company that was closer to us.
Yeah. I mean, that's just smart business. And, that's in the world we're in today. You got to try to be as smart as you can about anything like that because everything's expensive and travel time's worth money, so.
It's like my uncle always told me, time is money and you're wasting both of them.
Exactly.
And trust me, I'm taking a course to learn logistics and everything like supply chain stuff. So, what you guys are talking about is exactly what we're learning about, it's kind of crazy.
A lot of people also say it's easier to go buy, if you have a restaurant, go buy local produce instead of, going to some other chain like Walmart, buying the stuff like that. You could buy from the farmer down the road.
For sure. That's another thing that I really want to start stressing on our YouTube channel as well, because it's called Merica-Tv. We try to push American-made products, Let's keep things right here in the U.S. Let's promote our businesses that are here type thing, I think that the media doesn't necessarily do that because they're bought, paid for. But I think that's something that we as Americans need to really focus on.
Hey, if there's a representative that's watching, hopefully that with Lucas Oil or anything, hey, slap him to protect the harvest. There we go. That you can do it. You know, hopefully someone's watching. That's important. No,
but that's the same for even here in Canada. You know, like our oil and gas industry, especially here in Alberta. You know, people. There's so many like people in Canada, like especially in the East Coast of Canada, you know, don't want to use our oil for some stupid reason. So we'd rather support Canada than anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I mean, Canada and the U.S. are very, very similar in ways. I mean, there's a lot of people that go to Canada to get away from the stuff here, and vice versa. You know, you swap back and forth.
Yeah.
As long as they don't have to come over here on a container ship, I think that's a pretty good deal for everybody.
So Jesse Metz was asking, do you guys like the Vermeer chippers?
Yeah, we actually, I got 2 Vermeer chippers. They get used about every day. It's like everything, like I say, things have changed over time. So there's good and there's bad. I've had a Vermeer that I thought was the worst thing ever. And then I have one that's a carbon copy of it that's been the best chipper I've ever owned. I think they're pretty good. I like more bark chippers as well. This is a monster truck show.
Yeah. Hey, we talk about everything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. I mean, I had a 45-minute conversation talking with Mr. Dan Patrick about amps and guitars. I mean, we talk about everything. Like Christian Norman and Brad Shaw talked a good 45 minutes also about drums.
We geeked out over drums, Neil Peart, Rush, you name it.
It doesn't matter.
Even when we had Scott Liddycoat on, we talked about his boat racing.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
cool.
our subject is about you. People like to know about you. So that, even though we talk about chippers, it doesn't matter. One time our always a popular question, we stopped doing it about a year ago, but was asking about what was your favorite pie. So I mean that was just a random question in general. So
there you go.
It's just it's pretty cool. That we learn about the lumber side or the tree stuff like that. But off the same topic stuff, we also we're friends with Tim Mente, and he does a lot of the storm services. Do you guys also do that too?
For sure. We're not on a coast, so it's probably not as extreme here all the time as what he runs into. But we definitely, that's part of a tree business. I mean, it's feast or famine sometimes. You'll have a week's worth of work ahead of you and wonder what you're going to do the next week, and then all of a sudden a storm comes through and you got 3 months worth of work and you're working every weekend. So we did a lot of storm cleanup. I've seen a lot of crazy things. Just like any line of work, if you're in a wrecker business or whatever, you see things that you didn't know existed out there. So but yeah, we did a lot of storm damage stuff. So that's pretty cool too, because Tim Mente is one of Mike Vaughters' buddies. So Mike gives me some crap about acting the same way as him, from being in the same line of work. Like there's certain things that Mike thinks I need to go and get sponsored, put a sticker on my truck, and I'm like, I'll just go and buy it, and then I don't owe anybody. And he's like, you rich tree guys, He's like, just like Mente. So, like, I am by no means rich. It's just I don't like owing people. So.
Yeah.
Dan mentioned it, and might as well ask it. We haven't asked it in a long time. What's your favorite kind of pie?
It's the last time.
I like apple pie. That's about the only pie I like to eat, honestly. But weird or whatever. But whenever I go to a family get together or whatever, a mother-in-law or whatever, they got to make sure there's an apple pie there, or I'm not going to eat it. So.
That's awesome. Is there any social media people can follow you at outside of the YouTube channel?
Yeah, you can go check out Merica-Tv on Facebook. We have an Instagram. Ron MF Maple, one of my buddies that does a YouTube channel, has an Instagram. You can search for us. You can find us. Look me up, Brandon Overmyer on Facebook. I can shoot you in the right direction stuff. It's actually impressive the people I've had look me up on Facebook that didn't know about the YouTube channel, and then I send them a link, and then they're hooked. Like, and it's cool if you put something on a YouTube channel because you can tell the story. You can share the first video, and then they can follow it. You know, you don't have to answer every question.
Well, the cool thing is I can download this video and everything like that. I can send it to you so you can put it on the channel if you want to.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate that.
That could work out also. So
yeah.
Bring the traffic over our way too. Come on.
I don't know that we're big enough to be doing that for you, but we'll try.
We'll try. It doesn't matter. It just the seed that makes the plant grow starts from somewhere. So that's the way, you know, if you could do as much as you can with media and stuff like that and branch out through everything, it helps every product out. So yeah, we could do that. We'll send the video and stuff like that off to you, and then you can do, you know, put it on the channel if you want to and stuff like that. But also when we do the audio too, I will put the link for his YouTube channel in there also. I will this is live, but we do also put our episodes and we record them on iTunes and on Spotify. So in the information itself, the link's there. So you may not click it, but copy and paste it to watch, you know, the Merica-Tv. So we can do that. Much love right there. And hopefully if there's any room on your little sponsor panel, we got some Crush This decals we could send you. So,
send them my way, man.
Will do. We got the OG or the regular. I'll just send you that one right there. So we got different ones. I'll send some over to you, and
awesome, man.
Just give me your address and stuff like that, and then I'll send 2 logos, and then hopefully you can take a picture back, being right there on the truck. So
and I want to mention I got some shirts that are being designed right now too. So those will be available for people if they want some American Outlaw swag. And
now is it AM Merica or M like your YouTube channel? Right.
It's American is what the truck's called. Just because that's what it was called. But so and then our dirt drag truck is Merica, like the YouTube channel and stuff. But yeah, so we definitely got to get this merch deal going. That seems to be the thing. People like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Guys, we'll share the love.
We just need people to buy it, but instead of asking for free stuff.
Exactly. Yep.
But guys, check out his channel. It's one of my favorites that I watch. You know, I've been on a kick on his channel and another channel, Zip Ties and Bias Plies. So go check out Merica-Tv.
Yeah, man.
Also, want to give a shout out to one of our good friends, Brian Loans. He's in the top 5 in automotive podcasts right now. On his show, I'm brain farting on his
Dorkomotive podcast.
Yes, that's in the top 5 right now on iTunes on podcasts right now. So I thought that was pretty cool. Give a shout out to him.
Another thing, prayers for Wayne Smozanik, everybody. I saw a post earlier today, and he's not doing great with his health. Recently he's been on Street Outlaws, No Prep King. So just keep him in your prayers, guys. I'm not too sure exactly what's going on, but I just know that he's in the hospital. So, you know, he's a, former monster truck driver. So just keep in your prayers, guys.
Yeah.
Former driver of Nightlife and Tropical Thunder. So he's the one that started the legacy of the Tropical Thunder name. But man, Brandon, thank you so much for being on. It was good talking to you. Man, an hour flew by without us even knowing it. A lot of information about even the diesel world. And I think a lot of people got a kick out of it and enjoyed it.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on and all the support you guys give. And feel free to shoot me questions or whatever. I'd love to be back on here again. And I sincerely am thankful for this.
Awesome, man. We'll definitely have you on again at some point later in the year or next year. We'll definitely have you on again.
Cool, man.
All right, man. Hey, take care.
Hey, you too, guys. See you later.
Right, see ya.
Catch you later.
Well, that was Brandon Overmyer. That was pretty cool having him on, guys. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to put his link and everything on. And so check out his YouTube channel and stuff like that. So like I said, next week will be
Marty Garza.
And we'll go and talk about this book right here. This Monster Truck Technology by Marty Garza. So we're gonna go through this book, talk about it. I'm still reading it, and it's some good stuff. And once again, guys, thank you so much, Brad. Hopefully everything goes out good, and we'll have you in the week after that, and get back to the flow of things.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna ask this on air. Cheech, can I give him a sneak peek of the shirt that's for the rubber side down and the shiny side up? Can I give him a little peek?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, guys. I'm not gonna show the shirt that Dan's idea was. That one's a special shirt. You guys are gonna be stoked on that one. But this is going to be a part of the shirt that I'm designing.
Hey, hide your nudes, dude.
Here, let me turn off my light so you guys can see it better.
There you go.
So it's kind of like a version of the AMA motocross logo, and on the back it's gonna have keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Cheech's shirt. I can't wait for that one, man. That one, it's 80s themed. Just to let you guys know. And then we have another shirt that we're gonna be doing that features a quote from a certain outlaw. Let's just say. And then, obviously, I'm wanting to do special shirts for, the season. So Christmas time, there will be an eggnog shirt. And I came up with this idea while the intro was going on. But what I want to do is Christmas time, if we do the eggnog shirt, it's going to be for a fundraiser, guys.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that one than anything for a fundraiser.
I think we should do it for mental health.
Yeah, for mental health, guys. As you guys know, mental health is a big thing of mine. I go through it every day. Asperger's, ADHD, depression, anxiety. Mental health is huge, guys. And, I'll just say my spiel like I do. Check up on your friends and family, guys. It's rough out there. COVID still, I had COVID recently and that wore me down mentally. I had it two-ish weeks ago. And, my mental health kind of suffered in that time, but just check up on people, guys. Mental health is number one right now. We've lost people to it in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're checking up on people, guys. Like, I cannot stress that enough, and Cheech checks up on me from time to time, which I thank him for that. Cheech has been there in my darkest times and the most happiest of times. So just check up on people, guys. It's important.
And Brad's going to make a t-shirt that's going to be called, I did not make it, or what was it? I
only made it 4 minutes. It's just instead of the Austin 316, it's gonna say Cheech 4 o'clock.
Yeah, 4.00. I did not win the one chip challenge. We'll make a t-shirt like that.
Oh my gosh! And then then instead of the skull like on Austin's shirt on the back, it's just gonna be a picture of Cheech's face, and I'm gonna turn it red so with steam coming out of it.
Oh, that'd be great. And that'd be a limited t-shirt product run there too. And once again, we'll do that also for charitable ways too. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, there's gonna be t-shirts with the traditional logo and stuff like that for people to wear if they want to. But there's a bunch of stuff that we're gonna get going here. I don't know. I gave Brad the reins to the site. So I think be out the lookout maybe February or March for it.
Yeah, February or March. Right now, I'm going to be moving back to my parents' place for the beginning of February. So once I get settled in and everything, that's when the website will be live. Also, guys, 6B apparel, shirts, $100 a pop. We have the retro wave design. We also have the old school OG logo. And then Cheech mentioned at the beginning of the show, hoodies are coming. Chris with 6B has always supported us, always gives us killer deals. I work with him with designs. If you guys saw the Kill Devil Diesel shirts, I was the one behind the design for that and many other designs with Chris. It's awesome to work with Chris and 6B. He's always been, since day one of our good supporters.
Yeah, it's awesome that, he's willing to do that and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that too with the hoodies. And I think that's really a cool pop and a cool thing, and go from there. So we're going to get some, merchandise and stuff like that floating around. We need to get that going. So like I said, I still have decals. Decals are $5 a pop if anyone's interested. I had a few people already buying some. So we got the new logo that Brad is wearing on the crew shirt. That's the logo, and we got the OG logo too. So that's the one where the main focus is the motor itself, kind of with the logo and stuff. We call it the gray and blue logo, and then you got the multicolored 80s vibe one that Brad has right there. So
and we're working on another logo too right now, which a lot of old school 80s fans are gonna like. So it's featured on one of the shirts as well.
Yes, and that was another collaboration. Basically, me telling Brad, and Brad did his work. So
she just gives me ideas, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, like another idea is like that Budweiser logo behind you. You can do some magic on that
without the hockey goal.
Not with the hockey goal, just just the bow tie.
Yeah,
type look. Something
maybe do like a unidentified army wrestler character holding a guitar that looks similar like the Budweiser logo.
Right. Sergeant Slaughter.
Also,
the battle battalions.
Also for you Canadians, when Dan said decal, it's for us Canadians decal.
Decal. So in Canada, it's decal. America, decal. So you can get your decal decals when you need to.
Oh my gosh,
man, it's great having Brandon on. It was pretty cool. Next week, like I said, Marty Garza will be on. So, and then Brad will be on the following week also, and I need to get another guy on. But we'll go from there. Actually, the weekend after Marty, actually, we may have to find someone the week after that because I'll be on the road. So that episode, that week, let's see here. So next week's Marty. February 1st will be I will be on the road. So if you want to, Brad, we could put a recording on that, and I could put Mike Nickel and Excalibur.
Let's do a recording for that episode.
So the February 1st will be actually have Mike Nickel from Excalibur, the guy with Dave Marquardt created the legendary monster truck. Then later on, Charlie Pauken came in. So it's another video that I did an interview with at the Hall of Fame. So next week's Marty, the week after is Mike Nickel, and then we'll be back with our regular scheduled programming after that, guys. So once again, if you guys want to follow me, Dan Cheech Agosh on Facebook, Instagram, same thing, Snapchat, Dan Agosh 10, and also on my RC stuff, Dan Agosh RC on Facebook and Instagram. Go check that out. Go check us out also on YouTube. And also iTunes and Spotify. Give us those 5-star likes. That will help us out big time. I don't know what they do for Spotify, but thumbs up, sideways thumbs. I don't know what they do, but something. Just show us some love, guys.
Yeah.
And outside of that, Brad, if you want to throw in your tags, and then we'll get out of here.
You can follow me at the Monster Truck Canucker on Instagram. Follow Bradley Shaw Designs on Instagram. Check out my YouTube or my Facebook page for Bradley Shaw Designs, even website, bradleyshawdesigns.com. Also, Nitroholics podcast coming February. So after all this chaos in my life ends, Nitroholics podcast with Dalton Hastings and myself is starting up. So you guys make sure you keep an eye out for that. You guys
have a lot of news coming about, especially all the micro teams that came out of the Don Schumacher mothership.
Yes. So there's a lot to talk about, and also I may or may not be on the Throttle Out show this upcoming Thursday. Go check those guys out. They're doing a lot of cool content. We're all friends with the podcast game, so go check out what they're doing in their fantasy stuff. It's kind of entertaining for hearing them all talk smack to each other. So it's definitely hilarious. And even like there's episodes of Monster Truck Radio, the kind of what inspired me to do what we're doing now on YouTube, old episodes with Jeff Richards and stuff. I was listening to some the one he did with Andy Brass back in the day, which was cool. So go check everybody out, guys. It's
retro monster truck review.
Yep, Josh Rhodes,
also conversation with Scott Douglas. He did an interview with me. So if you guys want to go back and take a look at that, you're more welcome to. Still, there's, if you go on Facebook, the Monster Trucks of the West Coast, they're on there. If you may have to go through a bunch of boobies traps, you may find Monster Cast. Stuff like that. But
We don't know what cam is placed for you to guys get there. You might have to jump over snake pits and rappel down Mount Everest to get to watch their stuff again.
yeah, but it's all good. Yeah, there's a lot of love. So go ahead and take a look at that stuff too. So once again, Brad, I'm Dan Chichegosh.
My name is Bradley Shaw, and this has been Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast. Again, guys, next week, Dan's going to be talking with Marty Garza. And as we've always said, since day number 1 on the podcast, everybody, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Peace.
Bye-bye.